I've always loved painting. My earliest memories consist of getting my paint-covered hands everywhere, letting my impulsivity run wild. I giggled as my parents frowned at the ruined furniture and walls. Even the most simplistic paintings I made held a mesmerizing charm in my eyes. Slowly, it went from my mom helping me hold the paintbrush to me taking control and creating something even I didn't think I was capable of at first. With each stroke, I embraced the challenge, determined to push past my boundaries. I watched numerous YouTube videos and took online art lessons. After finishing each art piece, I just stared in awe as a sense of accomplishment washed over me. Did I really just make this? I was so happy and proud of myself. As I've grown, I've tried and enjoyed many activities. Gymnastics, karate, soccer, dance, tennis, and now swimming. However, painting remained my passion. But slowly, I lost my impulsivity and started struggling with the very first stroke. Just do it and see what you get didn't work anymore. I obsessed over the first stroke's position on the canvas, its width, its curvature, everything for hours, sometimes not even being able to start. At times, my mom would yell, "You're taking too long, there's no point." But I found a point. Art allowed me to escape to an oblique reality where I was in control of creating something perfect. The strive of perfection started to give way into my life as well. I have moved multiple times, from India to New York, Tennessee, Georgia, and now Ohio. Change always came with many social, cultural, and academic challenges. Just like that first stroke, I obsessed over my first impressions. I asked myself, should I approach that friend group? Or which club should I join? I was so anxious about making the perfect first impression that I didn't make one at all. I was quiet, followed people around, and didn't make friends fast. Then I noticed my brother and parents mingle, laughing with new people without a fear of feeling judged. I realized my mistake and slowly pulled myself out of my shell. Though it was hard at first, I made the effort and started enjoying school and making friends again. I became loud and expressive. Even the teachers asked me what changed. Instead of thinking about all the what ifs, I realized if I mess up, so what? I can just cover it with another stroke. My journey of self-acceptance hasn't been the easiest. Many times through elementary and middle school, I got made fun of for the food I brought to lunch. My classmates would say, "Ew, what is that yellow stuff?" Or, "That looks like chunky yogurt," after telling them it was homemade. Other times they laughed and mimicked me when I stammered, creating smudges on what I thought was the perfect art piece. I started feeling ashamed of my culture and who I was. Why couldn't I just be a normal person? I thought maybe if Hindi wasn't my first language, I wouldn't have trouble speaking in English. When I was in 4th grade, a guy commented, "Your legs look hairy than mine," and starts laughing. Already insecure because every other girl looked so perfect, I thought if he thinks this, then probably everyone else does too. So I started shaving my legs. It felt like I was trying to paint my life using someone else's color choices. Something similar happened in Georgia when I was in 7th grade, but this time it was about my arms. Different schools, but still the same problems. When I was almost done with the painting, a familiar worry started creeping in. What will people think of it? As people looked at my artwork, I anxiously waited for them to accept it. Accept me. If people can make fun of such an insignificant detail on my body, then what was stopping them from judging the smallest details on my paintings? I found myself always trying to meet the expectations the best I could, losing sight of my authentic self, like painting over the radiating colors that made my art unique. While I stopped getting made fun of, I realized I was still insecure. I got tired of trying to fit in, so I finally let myself be me. Art remained a steady island, a canvas where I was able to define my own narrative, giving me a sense of accomplishment. A couple of years later, to my surprise, I was chosen as one of the freshman homecoming representatives. I heard whispers of who everyone thought was going to get chosen. My name had been mentioned a single time. Then on the speaker, I heard Avani Jain, and it became one of the best days of my life. My simplicity and kindness became my strengths, drawing admiration from those around me. I finally understood that there will always exist different versions of me in other people's minds, just like there are a lot of different ways people can interpret a painting. As I started accepting myself, I began to question the. Over time, I met a group of people who, instead of looking disgusted, were intrigued and wanted to try my food. The yellow stuff had a name, haldi, also known as turmeric. Then I moved to Ohio, and so many of my peers had the same cultural palate as me. I was amazed at how many American households had boxes of Indian leftovers in their refrigerators. I learned about my own cultural festivals and was even able to celebrate Diwali at my school. A festival which wasn't so special to me before became very close to my heart. This was different, but in a good way, kind of like coming up for fresh air. Other people's opinions stopped bothering me. Being social and looking for acknowledgement is human behavior, but how far are you really willing to go for people to like you? I learned not to live my life on it. I found people who liked me for who I was, leading me to find this new confidence in myself. As I began accepting myself, I started to question the concept of perfection. Oftentimes, when I'm deeply immersed in an artwork, I obsess over a small part, correcting it till exhaustion. My teacher said that we shouldn't work on one part of the face for too long, but I didn't understand why until I made it. As I meticulously shaped the left eye, I was pleased with how well the intricate details looked. But as I took a step back, I realized the proportions had gone askew. It became evident that I forgot about the bigger picture. Just like when I moved to a new school, thinking each interaction had to be perfect. In the grand canvas of life, it's easy to get absorbed in the little things. Sometimes our lives need the perspective that comes from taking a step back. Some people still make fun of me, and sometimes it still gets to me. But over time, I've come to understand how worrying about something that's not in your control only gives power to the problems. I am proud of who I am, and the smallest details are what make me me. Just like when you look at a painting and you realize the details are what make it so extraordinary. I love trying new things, not afraid of a challenge anymore. I feel alive and have been able to grow through these hardships. That first stroke doesn't seem so daunting anymore. No experience will ever go the way you want it to go. Life is an imperfect experience, much like how creating art is messy, fun, and imperfect. Now, our scars do not diminish our worth, but actually add character to our story which shines out. Now, I've begun to see myself as something not to be hidden, but as a masterpiece waiting to be unveiled to the world. Thank you.